Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Rick Haaland. You know who I am by now. For crying out loud, it is day 20 of our 30-day program. My name is Rick Haaland, the host of Therapeutic Touch. Today I must take it very, very cautiously because pain threshold is up to an 8 out of 10, and so I have to move very, very, very slowly and guardedly. Blood sugar is 11.8 high. Blood pressure is 128, good. So what we're going to talk today about is energy in the body, and I'm going to try to break it down scientifically. It's also tied in with therapeutic touch, and we'll tell you more about that after the break. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in just, give me 30 seconds, and then we'll reconnect again.
Welcome to the eFlexonics Podcast Network. Join us for the latest tips and tricks from experts in their fields, showing you how you can be happy, healthy, and more productive when using technology, either at home or at work. Remember, tech shouldn't have to hurt. Our motto is, everything healthful and helpful for the computer user. Enjoy the show. Rick and Pat.
So what exactly is therapeutic touch now that I've whetted your appetite for this new stuff that's coming down? Actually, it's not that new. It's been with us for a long, long time. Let me give you a little bit of a history of what happens with therapeutic touch. Nurses can take a course in therapeutic touch, and they can actually get credits for it because they have to go back to school every couple of years and upgrade their skills, so they can work in hospitals and things like that. And one of the, or it used to be just a little while ago, one of the courses that they could take is called Therapeutic Touch. Now, what happens with Therapeutic Touch is this. The person that invented Therapeutic Touch believes that there's energy in the hands, okay, and in the body. Here's the best way that I know I can explain it to you. If you have a car battery, and you want to jump another car battery, you take booster cables, of course, right? Well, think of those booster cables as hands, right? And on a car battery, the electricity is DC, what we call DC, and that stands for direct current. That means positive to positive, negative to negative. What you're doing is you're taking the charge from a good battery and transferring it over through the cables to a bad battery, or a battery that's weak. And so you transfer that charge over and you can start your car. As soon as you start your car, your alternator or your generator kicks in and it charges your battery. Unless you have a bad battery. Then you have to go out and get a new battery. So I think the easiest way to describe that is like a car battery. But the body's system, electrical system, actually is not based on DC, direct current. That means it doesn't have a current, one current coming at it all the time and never changing. It is based on AC, or called alternating current. So let me take a piece of paper. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I will take a piece of paper and I'll show you. So direct current is like that. Just a straight line, right? And the electricity travels like that, right? Okay. Alternating current is like this. See that in the bottom? Now here's the interesting part. See this? I didn't draw it very good, but this is supposed to be exactly the same as this. Not a very good drawer. So imagine this is exactly the same. Okay, so we'll bring it. Okay, so we'll bring it down, okay? So now you've got it. This takes up exactly the same space as this, right? One is positive because it's above this line. One is negative because it's below this line, right? Now, interesting to note that if you take this half and this half, what does it form? Forms a circle, doesn't it? And if you were to take a look at a sine wave, that's what it is. Half negative and half positive. So what do the Chinese believe? Chinese believe in a symbol called yin-yang. Half of it's positive, half of it is negative. Has very strange correlations to this positive and this negative. Isn't that interesting? So, let me get to the interesting part. Therapeutic touch is this. A nurse will come into the operating room, and they will take their hands and they will lay their hands on the patient, or they won't touch them. They will bring their hands about this far away from the patient. So, okay, so here's the skin, and they'll put their hands about this. And they will take their hands and they will go over the body. Okay? And the general premise about therapeutic touch is this. The body has its own unique magnetic and electronics system where it seeks out its own equilibrium. And anytime you have a hand pass over it, it's almost like a little battery that is seeking to recharge the equilibrium on that particular part of the body. Okay? So as the nurses go over across the body, this far, the premise is that you heal faster when you go. Blood pressure is stabilized, blood sugar is more stabilized. The patient is generally well looked after, better than if you did not apply therapeutic touch. So let me put that on the shelf for a minute. Years ago, when I started to get involved with reflexology, I had a client that would come over to the house, a regular client of mine, and I would work on his feet, and he was diabetic. And at the end of the session, when I work on somebody's feet, I just take my hands and I just keep them about this far away from the foot, right? Kind of like what a therapeutic touch person does. And then I would take my fingers, okay, so the foot's here, I would take my fingers and slowly just trace around the foot and see if I could pick anything up. And you would be surprised at the feelings you get. I mean, I don't know whether it's electrical or whether it's magnetic. I have no idea whether it's the heat bouncing back on my fingers. But there's one particular fellow, and I remember I was just starting out in reflexology. Here's his toes, and my fingers would cross over his toes. And every time one of my fingers got close to his toes, his toes would just dance. They would jerk, and it was incredible. And I said, well, that's kind of odd. So I did it again, and I could replicate exactly again what would happen. As soon as my fingers passed quite close to his toes would twitch. And I could also feel just a little, I don't know whether it's electrical charge or just a little bit of a pull. You know when you're fishing, fly fishing, and you feel just the minute amount of pull? You don't know whether you really felt it and then it comes on a little stronger. Well, that's the kind of feeling I got. And his toes would just dance. So after that, I would do that with all my clients. And with regularity, when I did that, when I put my hands in front of their feet first, and then I did this, it was almost like taking a magnet or taking a big magnet and a piece of lead or a piece of iron and scraping it one way to transfer the magnetic properties from the magnet over to the iron bar. So it was bizarre, but I'll tell you what, that convinced me that there's something to therapeutic touch. So if you want to try your own version of therapeutic touch, and remember, this is not anything weird, okay? They've proven this therapeutic touch, that they've proven it works in hospitals, right? So what you want to do is you want to take your hands like this and just go like this, back and forth, okay? So like this, back and forth. And just slowly become aware of your breathing and do this for a couple of minutes. And I think what you should notice is almost like a buffer. You know when you go and take clothes out of the clothes dryer and you forgot to put in the fabric softener and you can feel that electrical excuse me, that electrical force field. So it's a static force field, really. So you're going to probably start to pick up on that and start to feel that, okay? Now here's the fun things, because this is what I used to do in my reflexology class when I taught reflexology. Okay, so take that a step further. Take one of your hands. Take your dominant hand and use that as the pointer, right? Take the left hand and just keep it there. take this finger of the dominant hand and just slowly pass by your fingers. And you may not feel anything. This may not work for you until you go down to your palm. And then just trace some areas of your palm. And just don't think about it. Just let it go and find out if you can feel A, hot spots, B, tingling sensations, C, anything out of the norm. And you should start to feel, after a while, I can feel it almost immediately now, after a while you will feel something. It's really neat. So if you want to take that concept further, go like this, right? And you will feel heat. I always feel heat. And when I studied Qigong, Shibashi Qigong, and Tai Chi, I always feel heat in my hands. And that, they say, is where the Qi comes from, right? So therapeutic touch. It's a principle of therapeutic touch. So after you get this going on, right? And if you have a neck injury, say, take one hand and put it on the neck. There you go. And see if you feel a difference. Say, for example, you've injured your leg. Well, just go like this. And get the heat going there. Get the static electricity feel going there. And then place both hands on your leg. Now, what happens if you've injured your back and you can't get to the point? Well, that's okay. Just keep doing this until you can feel that electrical charge, right? And put it on the area. Say, for example, it's on the right shoulder blade, right behind here, right? Then just take your left hand right here and just see if you can bring that energy through your body. Look, I am not one of those weird people that believe in, some whacked out stuff. Therapeutic touch has been proven in hospitals for years and years and years. Can we explain it properly? No. Can scientists explain magnetism properly? They have a really difficult time explaining magnetism properly. Go back a couple hundred years and try to explain magnetism. Wow, you'd be in big trouble. So all I'm saying is keep an open mind and try that, If you have headaches, do this and then put it on your forehead, right? You can alternatively do this. Put one hand on the back of your head and one hand on your forehead. Now, if your arms get tired, which they will in this position if you're doing it for over a couple of minutes, lay down. Lay down with this. And then you'll be able to rest this hand on the pillow and then this hand, and you can actually fall asleep almost in this position. So I thought I would show you or give you a little bit of example of what actually they're using in the hospitals. And I'll put a link below here for therapeutic touch so you can kind of investigate yourself what therapeutic touch does and what it means and what my rendition of therapeutic touch is. All right, folks, we'll see you again. I hope you weren't too freaked out about my drawings. Okay, so this was day 20. We'll see you tomorrow, day 21. Take care. Bye-bye.